All right, so the first thing you need to know is you need to know about the Holy Trinity in web programming. And the Holy Trinity is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So those are like the three fundamental things you need to know to build web pages. You need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Markup language, we're marking up a bunch of text, right? It's a language for marking up text. And we mark it up so that a browser can render it and realize, oh, hey, this is a paragraph, or this should be bold, or whatever, right? And the text that we're marking up is hypertext, meaning there'll be hyperlinks in the text, which we could click and it'll take us somewhere else. So that's the basics. That's all pretty much, we're probably familiar with that. But you really need to know that there's the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So the HTML is only for your structure. It's for building the structure of your document. Like where is the top of the document, the middle of the document, the bottom of the document, and where are the paragraphs, and where are the headings, right? And so it's all for the structure of the document. And then you put your content within that structure. That's HTML. And then CSS is for the formatting your document. So that's what CSS does. And then JavaScript gives you the functionality. So, you want somebody to click a button and it does something, or you want them as they type something in, the browser is responding a little bit and telling them, oh, that's a valid email or an invalid email, right? That's all JavaScript. That's client-side functionality. We have the server that sends responses to requests. So a request goes to a server, and then the server responds. So we have server-side programming and we have client-side programming. And client-side programming is done with JavaScript. So it gives functionality, programmatic functionality on the browser on the client side, right? Client-side programming. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's what you need to know to build websites. So I have an example here of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And this file has some Go code in it for being a server, and then something for App Engine, which is like a whole other deal. You could take my course on Go programming, and I'm going to create one on web programming for Go. But here, if we come into public, we have index.html. And so in index.html, I could go up here, and I could click that right there, that little Internet Explorer, Google Chrome icon right there. Internet Explorer is not even listed. How cool is that? And I click that Chrome one, and it brings up this web page, right? And so cool, I have a web page. And then I come down here and I hover over this, and that's JavaScript right there. So as an event occurs, the event being me hovering over this button, it changes the text up there. So that's JavaScript. And if you look in the code here, you could see my script, right? Like here's all the JavaScript in there. And we could see the HTML, right? And so here is like heading 2 and an anchor tag and navigation, right? And that's my HTML. And then my formatting is in here, and that's my CSS. And so here's the formatting for formatting all of that. That does the formatting. So the main thing that you need to know, and the main takeaway from this video, is that there's HTML, there's CSS, and there's JavaScript. And I call that the holy trinity of creating websites, of web programming. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the other takeaway is HTML is for structuring your documents, for the structure. CSS is for formatting, and JavaScript is for programmatic functionality, for programming on the client side. That's what those three things do. And there's one other thing I want to say, but it has totally slipped my mind. I remember. So you'll hear about semantic HTML. And so semantic HTML is an evolution of HTML, and what it is it's conveying semantic meaning with the tags that you use. And so that's a HTML5 kind of development. And the semantic meaning which is conveyed would be like, one of the tags or elements we might use would be like header, right? Oh, this is a header, Or we might use article. So maybe somewhere in here I have article, but no, I don't see that. And oh, this is an article, or this is an aside. So there's semantic tags which we use. So that's our thing, which is good to know. All right, main takeaway, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the Holy Trinity. HTML is for structure, CSS is for formatting, JavaScript is for functionality.